Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lefty from 643 Productions back again with another gameplay commentary. And this is a follow-up to my earlier video concerning Wings of Redemption and his, well, it wasn't really a suicide attempt. And is it Wings of Redemption's fake call to suicide? Is that it? That seems a little bit too alarmist for what it was. I mean, it was serious, like the video I did on this topic that will explain many of the points that I take to be true in this video is linked as a response video. So please go check that out before you watch this video and try to make all these claims and question me like, oh, you didn't prove any of this stuff. Yes, I did. It's linked in the video responses. Please go check it out before you watch this. But for those of you that haven't been following the drama that unfolded a few days ago, starting on Twitter and then eventually ending up on the Bad Kid Show podcast, a podcast run by DJ Keemstar and Only Use Me Blade, featuring Wings of Redemption, Woody's Gamertag, El Presador, Whiteboy7thst, D-Ranker, all these people. And I want to reiterate what a great job I think Blade and Keemstar did playing moderator through all of this. It wasn't, it was kept... There were points where it was kept lighthearted for the sake of being lighthearted, but there were also points where it was very serious and, in my opinion, very well done. But for those of you that don't know, Wings of Redemption, suffice it to say that he was accused of faking a suicide threat. Not faking suicide, not faking a suicide attempt, but faking a suicide threat in order to get views on YouTube. Now, the specifics of that quote faking of the suicide threat lies in the fact that a lot of people mean to say that he was calculating when he was faking it. Not that he just faked it, but that he calculated to use that threat of suicide to get views. And I have thoroughly, in my opinion, with my experiences with that kind of depression and that kind of thing, I think I can thoroughly debunk that notion. That was a very serious and a legitimate cry for help, a cry for somebody to talk to and to help through some mental and emotional issues. But again, that's what the video linked as a response is for. And that was the claim made against Wings of Redemption, and that is really what Whiteboy7thst, the topic of this video, was belaboring in his appearance on the Bad Kid Show. He was going off on Wings of Redemption for faking this suicide threat in order to get views, in order to further his own channel, further his videos for that day. And again, fundamentally, Whiteboy would be correct. The points he made about the very, very, very questionable nature of doing that, and I would side with him as saying that's borderline unacceptable. He made no bones about it. He said it was unacceptable, and I couldn't really argue with that. And if somebody did that in order to further their own viewership and for no other reason, that indeed is, and again, I cannot argue against labeling that unquestionably bad and just not acceptable. But that's not what happened with Wings of Redemption, as the below video will point out. That is not what happened with Wings. It was a serious cry for help. It was not a calculated move. As Whiteboy would have you believe, it was not a calculated move to get views. It was, again, a very serious cry for help, cry for somebody to help through some emotional issues. But Whiteboy continued on and on those points. So while he may be true, while those points may be valid if they were directed at somebody that actually did fake a suicide threat for the sole purpose of perpetuating their own viewership, while those arguments, while those criticisms would indeed be very, very, very valid, they're not valid here. Because that's not what happened with Wings of Redemption. Woody's Gamertag, I think, was also a very, very nice, moderate voice of reason to try to point out to Whiteboy, again, he wasn't listening through the Bad Kid Show podcast, that it wasn't a calculated move by Wings, as Whiteboy would have you believe. But here's where the irony comes in. And, I mean, I'm not telling you to dislike Whiteboy7thst. I'm not. I'm really not. You are free to like whomever you want on YouTube, and you are free to like them however much you want. That's the beauty of this country we live in. That's the beauty of YouTube. But I would think even the most ardent Whiteboy7th Street fanboy would have to look at this irony and look at these words literally bathed in irony, and they would have to accept them for what they are. They would have to. There is no way even the most over-the-top fan of Whiteboy could look at these words and not see any at all problems with them. Now, let me point this out again. Whiteboy's criticisms for leveled on the Bad Kid Show about faking a suicide threat solely to get views. They were valid criticisms. They would be valid were they leveled at somebody that actually did that. However, he was leveling them at Wings of Redemption, and I can tell you that's really not what happened. But does anybody else? This is the irony part. Does anybody else find it deliciously ironic that Whiteboy7th Street? That's all I'm going to say. Whiteboy7th Street was decrying Wings of Redemption for questionable tactics employed to get views. Does anybody find that at least a little bit ironic? Anybody find it ironic? Does anybody appreciate the irony of Whiteboy7th Street lambasting Wings of Redemption for questionable tactics employed to get views, to perpetuate one's own viewership and or subscriber base? That is the very definition of irony, folks. That is so deliciously ironic. And I would say hypocritical. There's a height of hypocrisy for Whiteboy7th Street to decry Wings of Redemption for questionable tactics for perpetuating viewership. That is the height of irony and hypocrisy, and the two are very much linked. And I would say that again, they would be valid criticisms were they leveled at somebody that actually did the things he accused Wings of. The only thing is he didn't. And after that, I just have to say, holy crap, is that some delicious irony / hypocrisy. And even the most ardent Whiteboy7th Street fanboy, I hope, would have to admit as much. And anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Remember, likes, favorites, comments, and shares via Facebook and Twitter do help me out. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I am out.